Assalamu alaikum, welcome to a new episode of the LDM show. On today's show we're going to be discussing a very important topic regarding science and has science become a new religion. Assalamu alaikum, Abdurraheem.
Wa alaikum assalam.
How are you doing today?
I'm alhamdulillah very well.
Well, so science, now obviously you've been around a bit longer than I have on earth, right? Science has
Had time to evolve.
You've had time to change, right? So science was obviously viewed in a very different way, maybe around the time of maybe your father and your maybe great grandfather, and the time it is now. Now, for example, I was in a video game shop, and I was talking to the guy. I said, "Do you believe in God?" He said, "I believe in science." So, how do you respond to someone like that? I mean, why do you think people have this way of making it into a religion?
I think I think what has changed is, yes, perhaps science has changed, but also perhaps people's attitude towards religion has changed a lot as well, and religion has become a lot less important. And I think if we think about why do people and why did people consider religion to be important, and why do people consider anything to be important, whether it's science or religion? And I think ultimately, for most people, it's what's in it for me, or what do I get from it?
Self-interest.
It's self-interest. So if people get something positive in their lives from religion, they will be religious and they'll support religion. And obviously, religion has played historically a very important role in people's lives in a very positive way. It's very easy to think about all the negatives of religion. But actually, until today, and even today, science shows that people who follow religion tend to have happier lives.
Yeah.
And there's some very good reasons for that, because religion provides a framework in which to become psychologically happy. Mm-hmm. Many of the key things that allow us to feel happy as human beings, religion has the ingredients for that. Science doesn't really. That's the strange thing. I mean, it does in some ways. Maybe if you're a scientist and you're actually involved in discovering things, then the experience of studying and discovering is very, very satisfying. It provides the key ingredients for happiness, but just believing in science and not participating in it. The reason for that is, I think, because of what people think science has done for them. They attribute, technology, everything, most of the things they experience in the world around them, they attribute it to science.
So the iPad, the iPhone.
You got it, exactly. So the iPhone, the iPad, the TV, and everything that's connected with it, how we get from A to B. So it seems to be as if all of these things are, miracles.
Yeah. Miracles
of this science. And in many ways, it has become a new religion. I mean, exactly like you said, do you believe in God? No, I believe in science. As if, science is
mutually exclusive.
Well, not just mutually exclusive, but he's almost saying is that, God, that's one religion, science, this is another religion. Yeah. It's almost as if he's admitting that, right? In the same way that some people will quite happily say that, football is their religion. And actually, in some ways, the interesting thing is, it is a recognition of what religion really is and what does religion really mean. Science has taken that in many ways, has for many people in the West, I think very specifically, has taken that role of being the religion.
Do you think this is because of the fact that scientists were persecuted in the Christian world, right? And then it was almost like when the church was declining, you had the Enlightenment and you had this new age of science. So is that the reason why this is the case more in the Christian world, the former Christian world, than the Muslim world?
I think part of the problem is, and obviously Christians are not going to like this, but the reality is that Christianity, the basic doctrines of Christianity are irrational. they're impossible. You know, believing that an eternal, infinite, self-sufficient creator became a temporary, mortal, needy man and was still an eternal, self-sufficient creator at the same time is asking us to believe in impossibility. So anybody who is embarking, as people were in the Age of Enlightenment, and decided that, you know, we need to use our reason more, or reason should be the primary source from where we get our information rather than authority, it's not going to be easy for them. It's almost going to be inevitable for them to reject Christianity. And that's why there's a certain stage in the Enlightenment, the late Enlightenment, that theism became, you know, the default belief system.
Deism.
Yeah, you're right, deism, not theism. Thank you for the correction. Deism, yeah, deists, yeah, exactly.
The rationalism.
Which is sort of rational idea of God, okay?
Which is closer to the Islamic concept.
It is in some ways it is. But it was a very impersonal God. It was a sort of a God who just created everything and then had no real, you know, concern or attachment for humanity. That's not. I don't really think that's a rational conclusion looking at the world around us. But you know, they had many problems, many issues, theological issues to try and figure out, like the problem of evil, for example, was a big challenge.
What's the purpose of life?
What's the purpose of life? You know, what's going to happen after you die? So if you've rejected, the problem is if you've rejected authority altogether, totally, where are you going to source this information from?
Where's even your source of morality?
Exactly, and what basis? What is your basis from which you are going to know more about God? So the problem is, once you've rejected religion altogether, you know, reason doesn't provide us much information about God. But you know, back to science being the new religion. I think what is really key here is that people are being indoctrinated. This is the reality, right? I mean, we talk about when a person, you know, often you find when you hear about a person who's become Muslim, their parents say, oh, you've become brainwashed, right? Or even if you've become a born-again Christian, right? I mean, today, probably in England, if you follow any religion seriously, people will say you're brainwashed. Whether you become a Hare Krishna, you know, a robe-wearing Buddhist, a Mormon, a born-again Christian,
Jedi.
you know, Jedi, no, but whatever. I mean, they'll say, yeah, they probably wouldn't mind that because they know it's a joke, right? Yeah. But I mean, you know, they'd say you've been brainwashed. But in reality, the people who are being indoctrinated and brainwashed are the people of this society. They're being indoctrinated with materialism and consumerism.
Capitalism in essence.
Yeah, well, not necessarily. It could be, you know, it doesn't necessarily have to be capitalist. But the point being, and this is very important from the discussion about scientism, which is the idea that science has the answers for everything, right? It's almost that science is the religion. Right, is that materialism is the point here, is that at the end of the day you are just a material being. You're just you're just matter. You're a sophisticated monkey. You know, at the end of the day, what really matters are material things
and what you want to do.
Yeah, so if you have a nice house, you have a nice car, you know, you have a beautiful girlfriend, you know, you're having fun in your life, that's all that matters. Those are the ingredients, they say, to make a successful life. So people now, I mean, we talk about the iPad and the iPhone, for example. You know, there's a very interesting book called Brand Washed, when they talk about how science is used in order to make you buy stuff. And they scan people's brains to find out what state of mind they are in when they are buying a product. And they found that people who use iPhones show the same brain patterns as people who are having a religious experience.
Oh my God. That is such a profound thing that, you know, although we've come near to the end of the show, you can talk about.
You can see the link between iPhone technology, science, religious experience. It links up.
Yeah.
And so it comes as a package, right? It all comes as a package. It's not science in isolation. And this is why evolution is key. Evolution for them is key, because for them it defeats the idea of needing a God. You don't need to believe in God.
Even though that's irrational,
You
you can believe in both.
You can, but it's important for them. That's why they push it, because it's all part of the materialistic philosophy, the consumer society.
Okay, excellent. Thank you so much for coming on the show, and inshallah
It's a
we can have you
pleasure.
on future shows.